Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Bulls versus Bears. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Welcome, boys. Thought I was going nuts until 11 o'clock today, where Trump interrupted, which, funnily enough, Bloomberg was, Bloomberg said this morning, Trump better be bringing a big game if they're interrupting people's primetime TV watching. God forbid they interrupt their Law and Order or Desperate Housewives. But he surprisingly was unpredictable. He said he's going to hit them extremely hard. And everyone was expecting a timeline, or that he was going to stick to we're out in 3 weeks. So that's our homage here to George W. Bush's very famous picture when he called the Iraq War, which went on for a further 8 years. Mission accomplished. It's a little bit of obviously a bit of graffiti around it, but yeah. So we sadly, Kai, it's 0.25%. But
boys, it was looking so good,
and realistically, I almost had to change the rules to make it so we might need to clarify. But it is Thursday to Thursday, so and given we've got the opportunity to make these rules where it doesn't count, you would have lost anyway, despite that bounce back last night. I have not fudged the numbers, But I mean, look, futures are down 1.5% as it stands at the moment. Oil's jumped 5%. It's about 4:30, 4:40, 4:45 here. Sydney time at the moment on Thursday afternoon. So we are early, but it will be of the close tonight anyway. And I don't think you're a snowflake's chance in hell of that improving. And if you do, I'd almost go as far as to give you a bonus point, but I would, but I just want to clarify that won't happen. So now it's been marked. We're JT. We're catching up, baby. We're catching up.
That's it. We marked our own homework this week.
Yes. Yeah. No. But mate, we should go into private credit. So this was as of yesterday's close. We were looking all right this morning, and what did we drop, JT? Like 140 points from where we were when.
I always look at the SPY, and it was trading, 87.20, and we're around the 85.60, so about 140, 150 points from top to bottom on the SPY, which is a sizable move.
All of these darker blue or whatever blue, different blue of the daily. Every single one of them has been wiped out. Well, the Euro stocks hasn't opened yet, but all of them have been wiped out, and some. This is the Trump world we live in. 6 hours makes, or 8 hours makes a difference. It's pretty much like all week. It's been like Trump's just been trying to get the American public on the hopium crack pipe, and he's just been repeating over and over again. We're out in 2-3 weeks. We'll leave you on your own, blah, 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 blah. It has been extraordinarily time consuming. But I mean, that's kind of the market map. I mean, which given Tuesday and Wednesday, you probably would think, so that's back to last Thursday. So it's a little bit out of context, this one. But you can sort of see Nike got belted. Apple made an announcement around opening up that you can use multiple AIs now, which is about as techie as it gets for them now. Netflix made some progress on earnings, but there wasn't much in the way of corporate news. Earnings starts again in it could be next week, actually. I haven't looked at the calendar.
Okay.
Well, it's new court, so the banks will start next week.
Yes.
People are freaking out about earnings because they reckon that the bottom could drop. And in 3 years, I haven't heard people go, "Oh, we're concerned about earnings in the US." I mean, whether it actually happens or not. And we do as well have another fly in the ointment thing to deal with. Payrolls is being released when the market's shut on Good Friday.
What?
Yeah. No, it happened last year as well, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I don't recall it happening. Yeah, market shut. So
they can't open up the government, because of payroll issues. But they're going to work on a Good Friday for double time, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what I think they have released it early on occasion. I don't recall there being but I mean, then the US can't be shut for more than 3.5 days or something like that. Like so they don't get 4 days. So there'll be a half day there somewhere. I highly suspect it could be Friday. I did tell everyone on the podcast this morning I'd verify that, but I'm going to put up my hand and say I didn't verify that. There'll probably be a half day Monday. I'm pretty sure it's good. They don't really observe Easter Monday over there. Good Friday though is observed. So yeah, it'd be fun and games, and we're not back till Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So it's always a good exercise to make sure you write down where things have shut, because net changes will not help you on Tuesday morning. Which is a lesson I've learnt the hard way. But yeah, there wasn't any corporate news. Intel rallied 8%, which doesn't seem right to me. They bought back a data center off a private equity group they sold it to.
What?
But, yeah, which there's no way they got a good deal. Apparently they bought it back for like 8 billion or something. But they rallied 8%. So yeah, but if private equity has shown me anything in the last 30 years, is it's like when they floated Myers. I don't think they had any financials. They just had Jennifer Hawkins in the prospectus, and they sold that puppy for a fortune, and then it just nosedived. But private equity rarely loses. So there's not it's been almost impossible to be stock specific this week. But Northern Star's made an awesome comeback. But look, it also did fall an absolute crap ton. Aussie markets kind of, you give with one hand, take away with the other. But this was as of this morning. It's not as of right now. So this would have changed. But look, it's Jesus' fault. We've got a long weekend. So. And I would imagine the viewership might be up a little bit on the podcast this weekend, because no one's going to be driving anywhere. They'll be bored and looking for things to do. Thanks, Albo. Gold and the materials went back up. Lithium, JT was really good. And then Kai, your boys in software went pretty good. So,
this was earlier on. I think the market at the moment is retracing all that. It's back to risk off, right? So...
Well, yeah. So that's what I mean. It's kind of irrelevant now. So because Trump has literally just changed we've gone risk off, risk on, risk off. It's very Mr. Miyagi. So yeah, gold's given back. So silver's given back all of that weekly gain, in the last 4 hours. Gold's given back half of it. I would imagine copper and platinum would have as well. And crude would be storming higher. I think WTI 105, possibly even 106. That I can check while we're live. But I mean, look, it'll be different by the time people hear this. But that's really key. And yeah, basically, instead of exiting in 2 to 3 weeks, Trump's basically said he will hit Iran extremely hard for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, bit hard to be predictive, boys. Because until this ends, but maybe we've got some stats on what we think is going to happen, where we've been predictive, and we've actually survived this quite well because we've not listened to Trump. We've just watched the troop movements and stuff. But beyond Hormuz, what are you looking at? If we look through this, so we have to deal with this, right? That's our reality for the next few weeks. But what are we looking at? What's your go-to when, if we're going to, like, a 3-month position, if you can buy the dip? JT, you go first, mate.
Okay. So the main thing I'm looking at the moment, and this is, I know we're saying beyond Hormuz, but the main thing I'm looking at is obviously, you've got that dashboard. What you want to check out is how many ships are actually going through first of all. And if we're back to when Trump declares victory, that's one thing. But then there's no actual victory till we actually resume some traffic there. So basically, when I say beyond Hormuz, I'm just waiting for that time when energy is free flowing again, and basically, the economy can steam ahead. So
just to quickly interrupt you, our calculations are, if peace this is this morning, if peace deal was announced this morning, so he just said 2 more weeks, so would roughly be about 32 days for supply to be back to normal. So now you've got to add probably 20 days. So we're fit. So beyond Hormuz at this point is about 50 odd days.
Yeah. So beyond Hormuz, I will go back to my original and just in the biotech space. Good old Telix has held up. I had Rakura Oncology on the call this week, and it's just basically they've got the cure for cancer. What was the other biotech that I'm a big fan of?
40X has killed it as well.
Yeah, 40X has killed it as well. Like the Mayo Clinic announcement there. But yeah, just in general, I think the biotech space, while the small cap mining space doesn't do well, people will look for the next hot area, and here in ASX land, we don't want 10% winners. We want 10 baggers. So you got to go into the biotech space for the next hot one. So that's kind of where I'm looking at beyond Hormuz. That's kind of like my first port of call.
What about you, Kai? Where you say you can fast forward and we're back to normal? What are you looking at?
Still really just inflation focus. I think there's going to, I think it's just a question of how much inflation will work itself into the economy. I'm still, looking at precious metals. I'm also looking at EV. EV is an interesting one as well. I think, this really pushes the story of the, green transition to EV and battery and all that. It gives it another push, right? I think it's a good counterpoint to say, most of the economy runs on diesel. So, I don't think it's going to be a very quick transition. But I do think it puts a bit more pressure to move towards, electric vehicles and not be exposed to these oil shocks as much. And again, obviously the tech stocks still very, very low in terms of valuation. So I think coming out of that turn, those are the 3 things that I'll be looking at.
And I just want to add there. So I was chatting with a client, and he was talking about the whole EV space, and I was thinking, okay, what's one way? So obviously AP Eagers has bounced because they're the biggest distributor of BYD, or the distributor of BYD.
Only distributor of BYD.
Correct. So the only distributor of BYD, and obviously you've seen that stock there. But I'll have to dig or ask a few LLMs about this. But let's just say, we do want to electrify and actually have everyone run on Teslas. We're going to have to upgrade the grid, and there's going to have the upgrades there. So obviously, we had that whole AI data center build out, and the picks and shovels plays within that. I think the electrical engineering space, basically anything that helps build out that grid.
I thought I was going to throw a curly one from the outside there, and you've stolen it at the last minute.
Oh, have I? Sorry.
I was going to say IPD Group.
Well, there you go.
All that is doing a lot of that, but yeah, you've just spoiled my surprise. Look, I'm sort of thinking one thing which like emerging markets, particularly Asia, and it's been such a buzzword, emerging markets. But I haven't done a huge amount of digging into this yet, but Asia and emerging places have been hit the hardest because they're definitely last on the list to get diesel and things like that. And they're the last people to have renewables. But I think some sort of emerging markets index might be pretty good. And then, we were in researching the fixed coupons this week. It was Orica, because they've been smoked because of they need urea, and they can't get it. And but things will come back to normal. And what was the other one? Qantas, because they're going to be backstopped by the government no matter what, because they're the flying kangaroo. And Worley, like infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be repair. I don't know how much work they do in the Middle East, but there's definitely going to be some repair work. But they've been a push towards renewables. That's their high margin business. So we have been looking at a few things, because we largely just got pretty sick of talking about Trump every day, and this will go through. And look, I mean, to Kai's point, inflation. I mean, we're mildly differing in terms of, I think the inflation will end up denting growth and cause rate cuts. A pure economist view doesn't really agree with that. So look, my economics degree is more, your backyard at TAFE variety of economics degree. But whereas, not the classical sense, but that is what's happened in the past. So I'm sort of thinking, but, buying the dip for sure, and not sure as hell not yet. But I think people have got rates wrong. Like Citigroup came out this week and said that the RBA is going to go by 50 by June. I'm like, no, they're not. No. Like that's just an idiot economist trying to get a headline. Or they've had issues installing Claude AI up there, and it's just it's hallucinated, because they're not going to pile it on. So this is a bit of a precursor to what has been, and a massive thank you for to what we're now calling K.AI, Kai. He's taught me how to use Claude properly, and which is where this dashboard's come from. Not this in particular, but I've been pulling all the data on troop deployment, the number of attacks versus the average, and how many barrels per day, and then obviously you calculate. So, but that research takes me quite a while to do. I've got to verify it all, and it was really born out of, let's look at what's actually happening rather than listen to Trump just talk nonsense. So this is what's been deployed this week. 5,000 amphibious marines, which are special ops, 2 destroyers, the George H.W. Bush supercarrier, which, by the way, there is some overlap here, because I do believe those amphibious marines are on the supercarrier, and a few of these warthogs. And the warthogs are for they support ground troops, so they come in and do a carpet bomb an area or whatever, and then the amphibious boats come in and the troops go up, blah blah blah. Again, I've learned way too much about like 2 weeks ago it was minesweeping wooden hulled naval vessels, and this week apparently the A-10 Warthog is like super old plane. It's like almost decommissioned, but apparently it's really good for purpose. A mate of mine who's been in the army said he's no way they've still got those things. But they've doubled, which they had 12 there. They've got another 12. So, and I ran, I'm not a military expert, but listening to a rear admiral last week, and he's just going, well, the destroyers are for escort. They're not really, in a naval battle and for missiles and things. But, if you're putting troops in the ground, this is nowhere near enough for an occupation. So boots on the ground is the definition, like where you're staying there, is, that's what we've got on the page is, and what's been deployed is nowhere near. But it points to basically taking the straight back. So blitzkrieg here, really hard and fast, like hit to that. The destroyers are there to escort oil tankers, and I'm sure they'll be chipping in from NATO because Trump's been hassling them. And now I'm sort of speculating, but this is exactly the equipment, hardware, and troops you would deploy to deal with this. And if you think about the way Trump works, he wants out. So, like, bomb the crap out of them, like fly an American flag as you escort 20 tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, and then literally just go, I'm out. Like mission accomplished. Let's get the hell out of here. And then as they're coming back around, probably just take Cuba on the way home. So like, but that, yeah, that's what it, and I sort of came to this conclusion this morning on the morning podcast, and then what Trump said at 11 a.m. our time, which was 9 p.m. their time, prime time, basically 1,000% backs that up. So he's going to hit them hard, fast. He gets to declare, because they'd be worried about the midterms, he'll get to declare victory. And mark my words, that's my timeline. And I've been fairly solid so far, albeit luck, given it's a definite lack of knowledge. And this dashboard now is available on Mosaic. I updated it. I mean, I was updating it for myself every day. Now it's available for you guys. So everything's in one thing. So these are the most significant attacks in the last sort of 3 or 4 days. This is the average. So this, since the start, it's the blue lines, or the darker blue is the US attacks. The lighter blue is the Israeli attacks. The darker red is the Iranian. The lighter red is Iranian proxies. So averaging 73 attacks a day, the US is averaging 215. Yesterday, they did 160, the US, but the Iranians did 106. So higher than the average. We've got troop deployment here. And obviously, you can see those numbers heading up. This is all verified, publicly available information. And then this is the cumulative barrels per day we're losing up until now. It's roughly about 10 odd million barrels a day. You got the traffic numbers up there. And then this number will be days to normal supply, which I'm assuming will significantly change. But if we were, and that is based on peace deal, from a peace deal, that's how many days to get back to normal. So as I say, if we add 21 days to this, we're going to be, we're looking at 2 more months, which nicely slides it into our probabilistic curve that we brought out a few weeks ago.
That's true.
So yeah.
One thing I do want to add onto that though is that you want to. So it's, let's just say 31 days to back to normal. It depends on which tracker you follow. Is it like how many days of diesel we have here in Australia as well? So yeah.
Oh no. So as in 31 days so the deficit that's accumulating, to recover that deficit will take 31 days. So that's what the definition of back to normal is, because it's too hard to do it per location. It's just
what I'm saying. So I was just bring it to home, and it was just interesting that So bringing it to home, is that like, what's ScoMo doing on TV? Or so not ScoMo, Albo doing on TV, like trying to calm everyone down. And I just think that
hey, we got how dare you? We got 33 cents off our $3.50 diesel.
Exactly.
But seriously, this
crazy
the 8 cents a litre. You can buy 3 Twixes and get a better discount than that with your 8 cents a litre.
Yeah, but crazy. They're probably going to introduce like a rationing or some sort of limits, maybe in a next week or two. Because I don't think this thing's going to stop in the next couple of weeks, right? So I think everyone
we're in trouble. Yeah,
exactly. That's the point I was making. Like, okay, so great. Look, let's just say Trump does his job and hits them hard, and it all goes to plan, and he can declare victory on the Monday. And I do want to state that so Trump loves doing things when the market's closed, and because he's got a 3-day weekend this weekend, he's going to do something. So he's got a bit extra.
And he said he's going to go extremely hard. So since we've been sitting here, when I brought up the oil price, the conversation moved on. What was that, 5 minutes ago? We've gone from 105 to 106 already in crude oil, and we're touching new highs basically.
Exactly. So hopefully Mark and I went to a presentation, and a smart operator had already brought forward his diesel purchase for the year, and we're like, that guy switched on, he actually understood.
He said he was using spare capacity at a service station. I'm like, I almost was like, can I get the address? He'll nearly need an armed guard down there if people find out that he's got 20,000 litres of diesel stuck in the ground.
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly. Well, it could be more valuable than what he's trying to dig out of the ground.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you'd be pretty concerned if the local servo owner starts turning up with some bling. You'd be like, "Where's my diesel?"
That's it.
It's on the black market. But look, if you scan this QR code, you'll go to the or it's on Mosaic. I'll make sure it's featured. But you can go, so you can obviously you get a few looks at it for free, and then you need to download Mosaic, still for free, but you just need the app, so and a login. So but yeah, scan that code and you can go, and it will be. Well, I've committed now. This took me nearly a month to build, so I'm going to at least use it for the next couple of weeks. But I'm going to be updating this with all of these daily before the morning call. So you'll be able to see that from sort of 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning most days, and sort of see where it's. And that, look, yeah, there is a Hormuz traffic thing as well, which includes. There's been some seriously dodgy numbers on that as well, I've got to say. They reported 20 through the other day, and then satellite imagery confirmed 3. So,
oh, wow.
But yes, Captain Catch Up.
Whoa.
Kai Chen. How does it I don't know. Are you going to be okay? I don't think you're batting at like 99%. Like you're going to be able to. Can't
So
believe you
close.
can. Oh mate, but. Well, not really, because the futures are going to be flogged tonight.
Yeah.
But
It's going to be red tonight.
Well, geez, wow! Actually, NASDAQ at 5:10 p.m. Sydney time, down 1.8%.
Yeah,
that's pretty. That's pretty ugly. So extreme fear. I think that needle might need to find a negative by the end of the session tonight, or at least on the open. But yeah, they're like, I can't see it bouncing. But just confirming, guys, actually, we just to clarify the rules here. So it's Thursday. Thursday closed to Thursday close.
Right? Thursday close. So if there's a miracle bounce, then Kai can actually still win. But
but I'm talking about us next Friday. If it gets smoked tonight, but you can't change your votes now because we're all on the same boat.
So we're all bearish.
I'm just sitting there, and it just occurred to me. I'm like, are you idiot? Like maybe if I could have gone a bull, because if it gets built tonight, it's from tonight's settlement. I don't think you can.
Yeah, and then you've got like say a freak out on Monday Asia as well. Like,
yes, and then we get anyway,
and then you get turned around Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll turn around Tuesday. But lately the stats have been horrible for Fridays. It's been flogged Friday. I don't know. Friday fall.
Yeah. But we didn't actually mention the that was the most incredible end of quarter window. Well, I always joke about it.
God!
The window washing rally that was on was it Friday? Wednesday night.
It was when it was Tuesday night because we rallied again last night, and then another percent, and now we've given back most of it. But the NASDAQ was up 4%. And all Trump said was like, we won out. and Western media was reporting that the Iranian president he goes, we have a willingness for peace, and then they stopped recording him. I think maybe Donald Trump might have been doing the interpreting. But they cut off the complete context of he went on to say, if our conditions are met, but every bit of Western media cut that bit off. So it was pretty bad reporting. But yeah, window dressing for end of quarter for the fund managers. So the joys of co-working here at the moment. There's a little bit of Thursday partying going on in the background.
Yes.
But yeah. So I mean, essentially, we've had a lot of good feedback this week on Prism, the portfolio thing. It's really good for us because, again, K.AI helped us get formalize this into a bit of software, and we've got a really good system going there, and we've done about six to eight reviews this week, and everyone's been really happy. So yeah, but and then you've got Mosaic. So whoever it is, can they mute their mic, please? Because that's clear as day. Whoever's got the women outside, can you mute your mic? I'll have to cut that bit out. I've now got to remember to cut it out. But I'm going to go back just a bit. Bear with me. So we got Prism Portfolio Guardian. Had really good feedback on this week. Kai's helped us, guided us, and we've really managed to turn what our regular sort of experience is in these reviews that used to take hours into something we can do a lot quicker now, and the feedback's been really great. So you can get your free portfolio review. You just got to send it in. There'll be a form floating around somewhere on the in the socials and stuff, and keep up to date with Mosaic as well. I mean, those of you, there's been a couple of occasions recently where we bailed out of Micron because of the Google thing. And then Micron's fallen 25%. If you missed that news story in the sea of Trump crap, you probably, it would have been pretty costly. We've been pretty strong on this, on tracking the actual movements rather than the and that's saved us a lot